Hi, everyone. I just wanted to discuss something that we mentioned on my show today, but we mentioned it on Street's channel because I had to cancel my Zoom. Well, all this talk about Shiloh and the rope and the string, I just wanted to tell you that I don't believe it has anything whatsoever to do with fishing. I think that that's pretty ludicrous. But if you read Forrest Fenn's book where he talks about making the ball of string and tying the knots, what you might want to do is look into the Pueblo Revolt of 1680, because that's where this comes into play. Basically, the Indians used what they called a knotted cord that was made of a fiber which is water soluble, okay, which means that it melts in water. That's why Forrest Fenn was talking about the rain and the string disappeared. Basically, when Pope was planning the revolt, the way he communicated with all the tribes was he sent them a bunch of strings with knots on them. And what they were told to do was every morning remove one of the knots. When there are no more knots left, that was the day of the revolt. But what happened in Santa Fe was just north of Santa Fe, we have Tesuque, okay, which is spelled Tsque, I believe. Well, two teenage native boys were running from there. Actually, they were called runners, and they were the ones that would pass this rope from tribe to tribe to let them know when things are going down. Well, the Spanish, okay, Diego de Vargas, he intercepted and tortured the two teenage runners, and they told him what the rope meant. Now, word got back to Pope that the Spanish had found out about the rope that they were using for communication, the knotted rope. Um, he then started the event one day earlier to mess up the Spanish. The problem was that he couldn't get all the way to the Hopi, for example, who were way out in Arizona. So they didn't receive the notice that the revolt was happening one day earlier. So as a result, which may actually work out in his favor, Pope showed up on the day earlier and they had the revolt. And then the following day, the Hopi Indians, for example, showed up at the revolt. Now, the Spanish now knew, of course, that they were using a knotted rope to communicate with all the tribes. And the Zuni tribe tried to use that same technique again in 1702, but it was averted because the Spanish already knew about that. That's how they were communicating. If Forrest Fenn is talking about a rope in the book and you're talking about a string, it had nothing to do with fishing. It had to do most likely with the Pueblo Revolt. And as you all know, we've been talking a lot about San Lazaro. Well, that's what all this stuff was about. So it makes sense. So again, the knotted cord was made from a fiber that was water soluble, and they would tie them together, a bunch of knots. They would take one knot away every day. And when there were no more knots left or no more string left, then they knew it was the time of the revolt. That's how all the Pueblo culture would communicate with each other against the Spanish. Anyhow, I just wanted to put this out there really quick. If you want to find out more about it, just Google the knotted cord and the Pueblo Revolt of 1680, and you'll find out quickly what the knotted rope means and teaches the ropes, all of that stuff in the thrill of the chase. So, talk to y'all later. Peace.